What's up, guys? It's your boy Zwolky back with another Chris Watts video. And yes, we know it's been 7 years of the Chris Watts case and so forth, but Real Killers has posted a video a few days ago, and a content creator of a friend of mine, this man, or I should say that, a friend or creator, I don't know how you would say a fellow YouTuber friend, that works. But a Chris or Watts case video, 7 years of regret, and they have posted a few days ago, and we're going to watch it together. So with that being said, grab a chair, get comfortable. Also, what I would like to ask you guys is go over to his channel and subscribe. His content is fantastic. I would love to see him start posting more and so forth. He's probably a busy man, but go give him some love. And then on my channel, of course, subscribe, comment, like, and share. It's free to do. It's easy to do, and it helps out the channel. We just hit 71,000 subscribers. It's all because of you guys. And then I'd love you to go over and show that same love at Real Killers. Watch his old stuff, watch his new stuff. You know the deal. And without further ado, let's get into his video. Those birds going in reverse? Some of them look like they're in reverse, some of them don't look like they're in reverse. I'm confused. The birds are chained to the sky. Oh.
Prison sucks. Yes, I know it isn't supposed to be a pleasant experience. I state the obvious as a reminder, a warning to those that have never been there. Don't go there. Think before you act. Never allow an emotion or a split-second decision earn you a trip there. That's all it takes. Don't break the law and you'll be fine. That's easier said than done in some circumstances and environments. Inmates adapt in prison. But even after an inmate adapts to everyday routine and...
I'll say that's actually a pretty well-looked facility compared to the ones I've seen.
Politics get to you. Chris is a master at blending into the background, appearing to be nothing more than a typical quiet and awkward so-called man. The same way he shied away from the camera with Shanann, he will do the same in prison in an attempt to survive. His crimes weren't spur of the moment, and Chris will have to live in fear for the rest of his days.
I think it's funny how many people he had to have watch him at times. It's probably not just because for him as being dangerous, but other prisoners that might be trying to find Chris Watts, because prisoners go after prisoners. There are rumors from the guy that I'm friends with, has a buddy that's in that jail, and there has been rumors of wanting to harm him. But other than that, that's all I know at this time. I also told him I didn't want to know too much because then I can get in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble. So I just know that there are prisoners that want him. So...
I know it's been 7 years, but let's go back to August 12th of 2018 in Frederick, Colorado. And Chris is still a suburban husband at a birthday party with his 2 daughters. Shanann Watts is hundreds of miles away in Arizona, wrapping up a weekend business trip with her Thrive team. To the outside world, it's just another Sunday, but for Shanann, this weekend has been different. The cracks in her marriage have begun to split wide open. She's 34 years old, a mother of 2 little girls, Bella age 4 and Celeste just 3. She's also 15 weeks pregnant with a son she and her husband have already named Nico. Shanann Watts was a woman who wanted to share her life with the world. Her social media told the story of a perfect family, An attentive husband, vacations, birthday parties, and moments of everyday joy. But behind the photos, behind the posts, and Instagram updates was a woman carrying the weight of responsibility.
And yet she was looked down upon. She was made fun of. She was pretty much, I wouldn't say crucified, but she's been pretty much, her name, her legacy that she built has been tried to go through the blender because of these hateful Shanann haters. And they're always like, for everybody that stands up for Shanann, not just myself, but others, they look at us like we're obsessed with Shanann or we are in love with her. That's not what it is. We're fighting for this woman because we know that there's more to this being wrong. And why would she's not here to fight for herself. She's not here to defend herself. Of a woman that lost her life, she didn't cause because she was what? A determined, hardworking woman? I just don't get it. I mean, there's people that have unfriended me on my Facebook, my normal page, because I make too much content. I asked them, I was like, why did you unfriend me? Because I posted too much content. So Shanann, being a person of posting lots of content, there are people that didn't like her. Apparently people that deleted her, blocked her. Like, we can't please everybody. But don't go after a woman that has lost her life because a man decided, hey, I want to start my life over. I want to redo this with a different woman, somebody that gets me, because I couldn't be by myself with Shanann, he says. But he was the one that was going after her and friended her on Facebook and went above and beyond, went to her colonoscopy, went and had children with her. He did all that. Nobody put a gun to his head. Nobody told him that you have to do this. And then for him to be so selfish and to remove a family from the world. And then there's people out there that go, oh, Shanann was so mean to him. She pushed him to do. Are you kidding me? I'm mind blown for those people to state that. You're willing to defend a murderer because she was mean to him? You act like she sit there and whipped him with a whip and said, go to work and I'm going to spend all your, like, you act like this guy is, or Shanann Watts is Hitler or Genghis Khan. That's how they act.
You feel something is wrong, she doesn't keep it to herself. But Chris, her husband of 8 years, is different. Quiet, reserved, someone who doesn't thrive on attention the way
And as they've said before, opposites attract.
Shanann did. She had faith in opposites attracting and thought that balance worked. She was outgoing and he was reserved. She was the talker and he was the listener. The perfect match. Shanann felt unstoppable. But as we know now, appearances can hold deeper cracks. Humans cheat. It happens. I don't condone it, just like I don't condone breaking the law, but it happens. After 12 years of marriage, you think you know someone. Cheat, your wife is going to know something's up. Shanann wasn't imagining things, nor was she being paranoid.
She knew exactly what was going on. She knew how Chris was. Well, apparently up until the murdering part, but...
After 12 years, you can feel the shift. Chris had been losing weight, working out more, suddenly paying attention to his appearance. To friends, it looked like he was just getting healthier. But to Shanann, it felt like he was slipping away. Her text to friends painted a picture of a woman trying to hold her family together. She told him she felt Chris no longer wanted the baby, no longer wanted her. She felt his kisses felt forced.
And see, there was a brain in that image. There was a heart. You could see the flutter there for a second. That baby deserved to be born. And I'm pro-life. Like, when it comes to babies and so forth, I'm not going to get into the whole my body, my choice kind of thing, because I don't want to discuss that. I don't want that information on my channel because we're here for crime. But I'm a person that a baby is conceived, that baby deserves to be born. We have all been born. We got a chance at life. And it just bothers me so much that this child was conceived hopefully out of love at the time, but then drastically changed because of this man. But he took it away and he shouldn't have.
And his hugs were half-hearted. Shanann knew that something was very wrong, and she was right.
Oh, that Shanann didn't buy him anything, like I've said or seen in some comments, but yet, or they said, oh, Shanann didn't take Chris to a car museum. No, she took him to a Metallica concert. And you're pissed because she didn't take him to a car museum?
Now, as Shanann prepares to fly back to Colorado late on August 12th, she's exhausted. The Thrive trip has been successful. She's built connections, shared her passion, but emotionally she's drained. The weekend wasn't just about business. It was also about distraction. While she was gone, she continued texting Chris, trying to get through to him. She tried to bridge the gap to understand why the man who once adored her now seemed like a stranger. She didn't know that while she was away, Chris had been with another woman. He was having an affair with a co-worker, as we already know, Nicole Kessinger. To Chris, this relationship felt like a new beginning. To Shanann, it was the reason behind every cold shoulder and every unanswered message. Her friend Nicole Atkinson, also on the Arizona trip, is making sure Shanann gets home safe. Nicole has seen Shanann struggle these past weeks, has listened to her fears.
Ma'am, that is not a vacuum spot. That is a hickey. That is wrong. You are too young for that.
Friends like Nicole were Shanann's lifeline. People
Maybe
she
not.
could text at all hours when the silence from Chris became unbearable. The flight is delayed, running late into the night. Shanann is tired, nauseous from pregnancy, and emotionally now. Still, she pushes through, because that's who she is. At 1:48 a.m. on August 13th, Shanann's flight finally lands. In Denver, she gathers her things, probably moving slowly, weighed down by more than just her carry-on bags. Nicole is there to drive her home. Pregnant with a third child, Shanann is feeling off.
I mean, Sandra even said it in North Carolina. Stay here. Stay at home. And she said, no, Chris has got great insurance and takes care of the girls. Like, the mom even saw it. I mean, even Shanann said, she's like, I don't feel safe with him. If you have a feeling, keep that feeling, because it could be life and death.
They chat softly on the ride back, the dark highway stretching out ahead of them. Nicole notices Shanann isn't herself. She's quiet, withdrawn, but Shanann is also determined. She's coming home ready to face Chris, to talk, to work things out, one way or the other. By the time they pull into Shanann's driveway in Frederick, it's 1:48 a.m. The house is dark, the kids are assumed to be asleep, and Chris awaits her inside. Shanann thanks Nicole, hauls her suitcase up the walk, and disappears into the house. It's the last time anyone other than Chris Watts will ever see her alive. I always said, hug your loved ones every chance you get. We aren't guaranteed.
I hug and kiss my children and my spouse and I don't do it to my parents because I'm 37, but I mean, maybe I should hug my parents more. You never know when your life hits 0 days, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. So hug them. If you're watching this, hug your loved ones, hug your friends, reach out to them and say, I miss you. I love you. It only takes a brief second because you never know when it's time to go.
Need another wake up. The Ring footage of Shanann walking up to her door is very haunting. Atkinson waiting for Shanann to walk into what she assumed was a safe home. Shanann wasn't walking into a crime scene. She was walking into her own home, into the space she built for her family. She believed that house represented safety, love, and stability. But for Chris, it had become a cage, a reminder of a life he no longer wanted. And within just a few short hours, everything would unravel.
Because I don't like the pie.
Ready, set, go.
Ready?
Dodge Correctional Institute. his home.
I remember the ride from Waukesha County Jail to Dodge. I landed on a cold November morning. It was a depressing, gray, cold morning for me. You see, in Wisconsin, the wind cuts through you with a chill that seems to seep into your bones.
Same with Minnesota.
It was just over an hour's drive. I remember thinking, damn, I'm really going to prison, as I reflected on my poor decisions. I also knew that at some point I'd get released, and that's what kept me going from day to day. I didn't know what to expect.
That's the thing. What does Chris have for or anything to look forward to? Yeah, there's rumors of him getting married. I've heard that it's been taken off the table because of his circumstances his circumstance that him being a murderer of his wife and children, that he's not allowed. I don't know if that, I've been reading a lot of people's comments and opinions and so forth when it comes to other Facebook forums, and the rabbit hole definitely keeps on diving on Reddit posts. But like Real Killers had gone through, he had something to look forward to. And Chris has nothing. Chris has no silver lining to his life anymore. Yeah, he's got some friends and some people that he pen pals, or the woman he's talking to, but like what do you have to forward, or I'm trying to reword this. What does he have anything to look forward to? Like us, I'm expected to hopefully have grandchildren in the future with my kids. Hopefully not too soon, but I'm looking forward to going on certain adventures with my spouse into different countries, and living life and going to certain Comic-Cons and like we have things to look forward to. He has nothing.
When I got there. For Chris, this is the last stop. Still pretty young, too. 5 life terms. That's a long time. He isn't going anywhere. I bring this up because our last moments of freedom are always surreal.
So technically the life expectancy of a human male is, I think they said 72, and women are 76 to 77. So if you think about it, from him being like, what was it, 33, 32 at the time, he could do 50 years in prison before he dies. That's a long time to be in a 5x5 cell or 5x9 cell. Man, that sucks.
For Chris, they come after a quiet sentencing hearing in November of 2018. He pled guilty to the murders of Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and unborn baby Nico, and received 5 life sentences without parole. There would be no appeal, no hope, no return.
Tried a 35C.
Calm, detached, like a robot. I know Chris goes back to that day, the day he decided to end not just his family's life, but his own.
Freedom isn't something that dies unless it's used. Ooh. Interesting.
When Chris gets to Dodge, the van arrives at the gates. Guards escort Chris through the layers of fences. Security cameras, and electronically locked gates.
And then just to know your life is technically over. There's no going to Walmart. There's no going to a Steelers game like he would want to. No going to see his dad, or going to another drag race, or going to have any physical touch with a female or his children. Like, that's got to be a moment that is already feeling like hell.
The clang of steel doors and the buzz of electric locks is the first soundtrack of his prison life. Every new inmate goes through an exacting, dehumanizing process. A strip search. New threads, fingerprints, photographs. Smile, inmate. Full medical screening, mental health evaluation, questioning about previous convictions. In Chris's case, that would be none. Affiliations and threats. Chris is assigned a number. No longer Chris Watts, husband, father, suburban worker, making a decent living. Now he gets to work for pennies on...
Or the silver fox he was called.
the dollar. He is now inmate number 674796. Collection of digits that symbolize everything he has lost: identity, control, and freedom. It's a terrible feeling, a constant reminder of the little things that, as free members of society, we take for granted. Chris was stripped of personal effects, left with only a thin jumpsuit, socks, and the memories of his old life. The guards explained the rules: when to eat, where to stand, when to sleep, when to speak. Everything is regimented. Everything is controlled. Every second of the day will now belong to the institution. Psychologists note that intake is deliberately disorienting by forcing new inmates to confront loss, vulnerability, and the absence of privacy. Prisons condition them to survive under strict control. For Chris, who once made every choice for himself, this is the first real taste of absolute powerlessness.
Protected confinement, first night in a cell.
Once processed, he is escorted to his cell for safety reasons. He is likely placed in protected custody, a small, solitary-like cell to shield him from the general population. Dodge Correctional Institution houses inmates.
No TV, no phone, no cuddling, no having a beer, having a brat, or having a campfire out in the woods, or like he gave that all up for another woman. I can't put my head around it.
Who have committed crimes against children in isolation for obvious reasons. Inmates with that reputation rarely survive in general population without severe violence. The cell is cold. A steel bed with a thin mattress, a small stainless steel toilet and sink, 4 walls painted in neutral beige, but the color does nothing to warm the space. One small window, barred, letting in only slivers of light. The silence is deafening. Beyond the steel door, distant voices echo, guards calling orders, the slam of the other doors, the occasional yell, but inside, Chris is utterly alone.
Enters her home for the last time.
Inside the Watts home, Shanann likely slipped quietly into her bedroom, but Chris was awake. He later claimed they argued immediately about the baby, about their marriage, about the future. We know what followed. Though the details remain chilling, Chris strangled Shanann in their bed. She was 15 weeks pregnant. He later tried to claim it was sudden, a fit of anger, but we all know it was premeditated. He said it himself. He knew it would be the last time he tucked his babies in. All that sudden fit of anger is bullshit. Just like the whole, he saw Shanann hurting the girls, so that's why he unalived Shanann. All bull. When investigators found out that Chris was in another relationship with another woman, they knew it was premeditated.
And Nicole didn't come forward until she knew her name was being driven in the dirt.
He had prepared his truck earlier that night to dispose of the bodies. And as horrific as this is, what came next may be even worse. Bella and Celeste woke up. They saw their mother's body. Bella asked, "What's wrong with Mommy?" Chris told her Shanann was sick. Then he loaded her into his work truck, with the girls in the back seat, driving them alive for nearly an hour to an oil field where he ended their lives too. This is where Chris Watts' crimes defies easy explanation. Many family annihilators unalive quickly, removing their children in the same moment as their spouse. Chris did not. He drove his daughters alive with their mother's body. That deliberate cruelty reveals a cold, compartmentalized mind.
Somebody wants to marry him. Loyalty will always be found in the things you regret because they matter. Shanann L. Adler.
By late morning, Shanann's absence set off alarms. She had a doctor's appointment to check on her pregnancy. When she didn't show and didn't answer calls, her friend Nicole knew something was wrong. Nicole went to the Watts home. Shanann's car was still there, but no one answered the door. Panic rising, she called police. Officers arrived for a welfare check. Chris showed up too, calm but strongly detached. He told police Shanann had gone to a play date with the kids. But his story didn't make sense. Why would she leave without her phone, without her medication? Neighbors noticed his odd behavior. Security footage showed him back in his truck into the driveway that morning. A suspicious move. The pieces weren't adding up. Even Nate noticed his truck never in the driveway before that day. So this is the point we know Chris loses control of the narrative and starts to panic. We all seen it unfold at neighbor Nate's house while going over the security cam footage. His rehearsed explanations didn't fit the reality of a missing pregnant woman and 2 children, and investigators knew it.
Desire for a new life. Be careful what you wish for.
On the surface, Chris Watts was a quiet family man, a father of 2 young girls, a husband to Shanann, and someone who blended into suburban Colorado life without drawing much attention. But the facade shattered when he met Nicole Kessinger. Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger crossed paths in 2018 while working for Anadarko Petroleum, an oil and gas company in Colorado.
Possibly 2017.
Nicole worked in environmental safety, and Chris was an operator. Their paths crossed casually in the workplace, but Nicole later claimed she barely noticed him at first. That all changed in June of 2018. Chris and Shanann had been married since 2012, but Shanann had taken the girls to North Carolina for a 6-week summer trip. This left Chris alone and vulnerable.
I still say it to this day. Thank God that Frankie and Frankie's Jr. and Sandra got to spend those 6 weeks before this happened. At least they had that.
During that time, Chris and Nicole's flirtations began. It wasn't long before a workplace acquaintance turned into something more. By the end of June, they were dating. Nicole told investigators later that Chris claimed he was in the process of separating from Shanann. He said the marriage was essentially over. Nicole believed him, but lurked in their Facebook page. Behind closed doors, Shanann was still sending Chris love texts, planning their future and trying to hold their marriage together. By July of 2018, Chris was living a double life. To his wife and kids, he was the father waiting for them to come back home. To Nicole, he was the man ready to start fresh, leaving his marriage behind. Nicole and Chris's relationship escalated quickly. They went on dates, spent nights together, they shared intimate moments. Nicole even searched online for wedding dresses just weeks before Shanann and the girls were unalived.
Motive and obsession.
So, why did Chris Watts unalive his family? Criminologists and psychologists point to his desire for a new life, with Nicole as a major factor. Chris seemed to want a clean slate. He wanted freedom. During police interrogations, Chris admitted he was torn between his responsibilities to his family and his affair with Nicole. He described feeling trapped. Some believe Nicole was the catalyst, though, not the cause. Chris was ultimately the one who made the choice to unalive. But the fantasy of a new life with Nicole played heavily into his state of mind. In his prison interviews, Chris admitted that he felt like his life was better when Shanann and the girls were gone, because it allowed him to imagine a future with Nicole. That chilling confession revealed just how deeply entangled she was in his motive. There are also a lot of folks who allege Nicole Kessinger had a hand in the unalivings or helped with the cleanup.
Alleged.
So by August 14th, the case exploded into public view. News crews reported from outside the Watts home. Chris gave TV interviews pleading for his family to return. His words were shaky but hollow. Investigators brought him in for questioning. On August 15th, he took a polygraph test and failed. Confronted with evidence, he confessed partially, claiming Shanann killed the girls and he killed her in a rage. It was a desperate lie. On August 16th, the truth emerged. Police found Shanann buried in a shallow grave near Chris's work site. With Chris's help confirming things, Bella and Celeste were discovered inside the oil tanks. The sheer brutality shocked the nation. Chris was arrested, charged, and later pled guilty to all counts. He received multiple life sentences without parole. Shanann's last day, her exhaustion, her hope to mend her marriage, her devotion to her children, was stolen by the very person who was supposed to protect her. Her story is not just about tragedy, it's about resilience, vigilance, and the importance of friends like Nicole who refused to stay silent. It's also about the hidden dangers of manipulation and control, and how the picture-perfect image of a family can hide something darker. It's been 7 years and the case still holds a persistent public fascination.
They want us to shut up about it. Go after Nicole. Open the case of Nicole Kessinger. Again, beautiful job, Real Killers. If you're watching this, you did a fantastic job. Definitely the 7 years of regret is not through Chris. It's through, well, I can't say it's through Chris. He has regret that he got caught, but he has no regret that he did it, because then he's free of his responsibilities and so forth. And maybe he did it to the point where he didn't want to be with anybody. Like, he was glad either way. Like, oh, if I remove them, I don't have to worry about them or Nicole. I could just worry about myself. Maybe that's something that came across his mind. I'm not quite sure. But again, I wanted to watch this because you guys wanted me to. Multiple hundreds of you have asked me to watch this. And of course, I have to wait a few days because I want Real Killers to get his views first for his content. So, but again, I always leave that link there. So if you guys want to watch it without me, it's always there. Support the creator that made it. And again, don't forget to comment your thoughts, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, hit that like button. Again, we'll see you guys in the next video. Please take care, be safe, and as always, keep nerding on, and we will see you guys in the next video.